Most fears rise like storms. Loud, obvious, predicted. But entomophobia does not rise. It creeps. It slips into the mind like a whisper carried on invisible legs. You never notice the beginning. No one ever does. It starts with something small. A flicker in the corner of your eye. A shape that moves too fast for thought. A soft clicking sound that echoes long after it stops. You tell yourself it is nothing. But the mind remembers. And the fear begins to grow. Entomophobia. The fear of insects. That is what they call it. But the name feels too fragile for something so ancient. So primal. So deeply rooted in the part of the brain that has no language. Only instinct. Because this fear is not truly about insects. It is about the invasion of the unknown. The reminder that something so small, so delicate, so silent, can still break you from the inside out. For some people it starts with a single moment. A flash of wings. A crawling sensation. A memory from childhood where something landed on their skin. A memory the mind has spent years trying to bury. But entomophobia is patient. It lives in the quiet spaces of the human psyche, waiting for the right moment to rise. For others, the fear grows gradually, a discomfort that becomes tension, tension that becomes dread, dread that becomes full silence, a silence filled with the rustling of imaginary wings, the phantom touch of tiny legs, the creeping certainty that something is always near, always watching, always too close. You try to control it. You turn on the lights. You check the corners. You close the windows. You seal the gaps beneath the doors. Yet the fear remains. Not because insects are present, but because your mind insists they could be. And the mind, when frightened, becomes a world of its own. Some nights you lie awake, listening. Every sound becomes sharper. Every shadow becomes a shape. Every movement of the air feels like a warning. There is a moment, just before sleep, where your senses fail you, and the imagined becomes real. You feel something on your skin. You flinch. You brush it away. But there is nothing there. Only your fear, growing stronger. Entomophobia is not a simple fear. It is a psychological echo. It is the body defending itself from creatures that once spread sickness. Once invaded homes, once controlled the night, before humans believed they ruled the world. Some scientists say the fear is inherited, passed down from ancestors who survived by avoiding the small, deadly, crawling things that lurked in forests and caves. Maybe that is why the fear is so hard to silence. Because it is older than memory, older than thought, older than humanity itself. But there is another theory. A darker one, whispered by those who study the shadows of the mind. They say entomophobia grows in people who can sense things others cannot. Tiny movements, tiny presences, tiny lives that go unnoticed by the rest of the world. They say the fear is not irrational, but a heightened awareness, a warning system, a sensitivity to the unseen. Perhaps that is why the fear feels alive, why it waits. Why it returns when you least expect it. Because somewhere, in the corners of your vision, in the